everybody, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Weekly Polls. My name's Derek. This is for my polls of the week of May the 26th. I've got 5 great comics to talk to you about this week. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at the Weekly Polls. I'm very active on Twitter. This week seemed to be the week of threes. I have 3 number 3 issues. Not a single bad poll in this week's polls, you guys. I have 5 phenomenal comics here to talk to you about. First up, Alien, number 3. This issue picks up immediately where issue number 2 left off. This issue is the most action-packed so far. There is some great sequences in this issue. Plenty of xenomorphs to go around. The story so far, retired head of security for Weyland-Yutani, Gabe Cruz. He's recently retired. His son, Danny, he has stolen his security card and he's made it up to the space base. Danny's working for an anti-Weyland-Yutani terrorist group. Gabe has been ordered to get up to the space station and save the alpha embryo at all costs. I am absolutely in love with the color palette they're using for this series. I mean, let's just look. It's gorgeous. It's so well done. The pages just flow together. Every time I read the word scree, I have to give my best xenomorph impression. Scree! Scree! As I said, there's plenty of xenomorphs in this issue. Tons of blood, tons of guts. We actually get a nice pre-chest burst. A really good chest burst panel in this issue. Just take a look at this. It's gruesome. It's great. Very detailed. I love it. There's mention of this character called the One in the Dark. That's only in one panel in this book. Looks pretty cool. I'm just curious what this One in the Dark has relation with Gabe Cruz. Next issue comes out June the 16th. If you're not reading this, you need to get on this, you guys. Aliens from Marvel. Check it out. All right, next up, we have a poll. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. Spawn, number 318. I've just got to be honest. There's just so much that has happened in the Spawn universe as I'm reading these comics. I just feel so out of place. I feel super lost. I feel like with Spawn, I personally need to just go back, read the back issues, figure out where She-Spawn, Medieval Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, figure out where all these guys even came from. It's really beautiful. I'll show you these panels here. It's so well done. Thanks to the Todd father, Spawn is still going strong since 1992. Todd is launching a bunch of brand new Spawn series that I'm definitely going to get the number 1 issues, and we'll see how that goes for me personally. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this issue of Spawn. I enjoyed it. I really can't even tell you that much about it because none of it really makes sense. Just because I'm not in the Spawn loop like that. Next month we're getting Spawn's Universe number 1. August, Todd announced King Spawn number 1. That's going to go monthly with regular Spawn. I'm definitely going to pick both of those up. We'll see how it goes. At the end of this issue, there's a section where they did an interview with Todd McFarlane. In October, we're going to get Gunslinger Spawn. I'm probably going to put all of my dice on Gunslinger Spawn. Todd McFarlane says himself that he thinks this is his ace in the hole. He believes Gunslinger Spawn can be the next big title. He's announced there's going to be new villains. There's going to be all kinds of new stuff. So Spawn is definitely in an exciting place right now. I'm probably going to stop getting the Spawn monthly just to save me a little bit of money, make some room in my pool. I'm definitely going to get the new Spawn series. Definitely, even if you don't like comics, get these Spawn number 1s. First Spawn number 1 since 1992. It could be worth some money someday. Spawn, check it out. Up next, we have a personal favorite of mine, Shadecraft number 3. Boy, I really love this series. The first 2 issues were great for me. They're really well written. I love the artwork in it. This issue took it to another level. First, I want to say a big chunk of this issue is taking place in a carnival. It's beautifully well done. I love it. Personally, I love carnivals. If you're a comic book writer out there and you want to put a comic in the setting of a carnival, I'm probably going to pick it up just to look at it. I don't know what it is. I love the ambience of a good carnival. The mood and the tone in this issue are perfect. Last issue, the shady, full pun intended, school counselor had a gun in her desk. Turns out, she wasn't trying to kill Zadie. It was for her own protection. Because Zadie actually can control these shadows. And we're not exactly sure where this lady has been sent from, but she was sent to find Zadie and train her in the art of, you guessed it, Shadecraft. They used the title of the book to call what they're calling Zadie's powers. There's some really good panels of this school counselor teaching Zadie the ways of Shadecraft. It's really cool. It's really good. Like I've said, this is a really good coming of age story. I would recommend this series to anybody of all ages. Some great moments of Zadie learning some different skills in this issue. We, the reader, have learned just as much reading this issue as Zadie has learned to use her powers. It's really fun to read. At one point, she turns herself into a shadow, and I lost it. I got chill bumps. I thought it was super rad. This story is hitting on all cylinders for me. The art in this book is absolutely stellar. Issue number 4 comes out next month. I highly recommend this series to everybody. Kids of all ages, parents, adults, everybody. Shadecraft, pick it up. All right, up next, we have one of my favorite series out there on the shelves right now. 2 Moons, number 4. I love this series. Radiant Black and 2 Moons might be my 2 favorite indie titles on the shelves right now, you guys. This book has my vote for best art of every book I've read this week. This book is gorgeous. The shading, the detail, every little thing. You can tell the creative team really took their time with this book. Every book so far in the series, you can tell that they've really taken their time and they love what they're making. Virgil, aka 2 Moons, is back in custody of the Union Army for the killing of his lieutenant. Upon arrival to the holding facility that they're keeping him in for the night, Nurse Frances is with them, and 2 Moons confides in Nurse Frances why he killed the lieutenant, which is that there's demons possessing these soldiers, and the lieutenant was indeed possessed. Really like these panels between 2 Moons and Nurse Frances. I really hope that they're going to be some sort of team. I hope they really work together in fighting whatever this foe is, these monsters, these demons. A possessed Union soldier shows up to take 2 Moons away, and he manages to kill him. And finally, I've been waiting for this the whole time I've been reading this series. Finally, there's some huge bloody fights, and other people besides 2 Moons is able to see these monsters, and it's great. Frances believes 2 Moons now. The Union soldiers, they see these monsters. There's some really good fight scenes in this book, a lot of blood, a lot of guts. This issue in particular is really, to me, feels like what's setting the tone for the series in the future. This is a wonderful piece of historical fiction mixed with horror, and it has a Western vibe to it. I love this series, and I've been recommending it to everybody. If you follow me on Twitter, at The Weekly Pulls, I have been talking, posting about 2 Moons forever now. Next issue, issue 5, comes out June 30th. That's going to wrap up this first story arc. And then there's a volumized trade paperback coming out this August. So if you've missed the issues prior and you just want to read it all at once, pick up the trade paperback. You don't want to miss this, guys. 2 Moons is fantastic. Right, so we've made it to the end of my video for my pick of the week. For the first time since I've made this channel, this is the first time that my pick of the week is not an indie. It is a Marvel title. If you read comics, you probably already know what I'm about to pull up. Beta Ray Bill number 3. Now, before I get started talking about this issue and this series itself, if you want pretext to what's going on in this series, Thor by Donny Cates is available on Comixology, Volume 1. In this story, that is where we see Beta Ray Bill lose Stormbreaker. We see the fight between him and Thor. If you want to go back and get some context of what's going on and why Bill is where he is now, go to Comixology, read Thor Volume 1. It'll show you everything you need to know. Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer simply cannot miss. This is the 3rd issue, and every issue before that has been amazing. Every issue is better than the last, and that's really hard to do because they're so fantastic. So the story so far right now, they're entering Muspelheim in search of Twilight, which is the Sword of Surtur. Upon entering Muspelheim, Scuttlebutt has become sentient. Scuttlebutt is now a robot, and it's awkward for everybody. Mostly Bill and Scut, right? Imagine you're living in your house, and all of a sudden it can talk to you, and it knows everything about you. Awkward. They do manage to break the tension with a nice game of ping pong. I really love this page right here. It's a lot of fun. This entire book is breathtaking. The art is absolutely divine. Every book I have in my pull this week, there was no lack of action. Every book is action-packed, and Beta Ray Bill number 3 is no exception. Scourge gets to shoot a lot of guns and push a lot of buttons. At one point, Scut turns the spaceship into a boat, and that was pretty cool. I really like that sequence. At one point, Bill and Scut share a nice intimate moment with each other, talking about how they don't feel like themselves, how they really don't like themselves. They share their feelings of their own inadequacies, and I just really liked it. I really like seeing that vulnerable side of Beta Ray Bill. So well written. Scott has in fact made Bill a new weapon to replace Stormbreaker, and it was a really touching moment for me. I really liked that. Bill couldn't believe it. This book has tons of great panels, great sequences, from Scourge firing off M60s at demons, Bill chopping, throwing, manhandling demons. It's awesome. Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer have their own unique style, and it just fits so well with Beta Ray Bill in this series as a whole. I really hope Marvel makes this a continuous run and they don't stop at issue number 5, but if they do, this is going to be one of the best Marvel runs this year. If you're not reading this, you're really missing out. Next issue comes out June 30th. You don't want to miss this, guys. Beta Ray Bill. That wraps it up for this week, you guys. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Follow me on Twitter at The Weekly Pulls. I'm very active on there. I'll talk to you. Let me know what you think. Support your local comic shop. Download Comixology. There's a series out there for everybody. There's a book out there for everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next week on The Weekly Pulls.